peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi. As you can see from the general headquarters, down with Miriam Ogutu. I am miles and miles away from the trend, the legacy trend of Punchline Africa Television. I am in the studios of the legacy trend, just away from Punchline Studios. Good morning. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Morning,
Dr.
Dr.
I will introduce my panel this morning straight to the point. The topics are very clear. The legacy trend. We are looking at COVID-19. Are we carving? Are we carving? I think we are carving. We are about to start carving. 2, politics. Bad politics and corruption fights back. 3, the newspapers of Kenya. News headlines, that is our topic for the next 2 hours. Thank you very much. Good morning. Let's look at that. Let's talk about the current issues, what is happening in the legacy. I will ask Karen from Malindi to bring us the summary of some, with Miriam, to bring us the summary of some of the achievements of the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. But thank you very much. This is Punchline Africa Television in conjunction with the trend, the legacy trend, all the way from the political command center, our Dr. David Matanga, and in the studio, Miriam Ogutu. Good morning.
A very good morning to you, Doctor. Good morning, Professor Nyari, and also good morning, Karen from Malindi.
Thank you very much, Karen. Can we begin with you with the weather in Mombasa and Malindi and Lamu and Kwale?
Okay, good morning, Dr. Matsanga. Good morning, Miriam at the studio. Good morning, Professor Jared. This is Karen Josephs from Malindi. I'll take you through the weather specifically in Malindi today. And we have the temperatures ranging from 22 degrees Celsius averagely to 28 degrees Celsius throughout the day. Now 10 a.m. and the temperature is at 27 degrees Celsius. At around 11 a.m., it will be at 28 degrees Celsius. At noon, we'll have it at 28 degrees Celsius, and it will be mostly sunny. At 1 p.m., it will be still at 28 degrees Celsius till around 2 p.m. And then at 3 p.m., it will be mostly sunny, and the temperatures will be at 27 degrees Celsius. At 4 p.m., it will still be at 27 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m., it will be 26 degrees Celsius. At 6 p.m., it will still be sunny, and the temperature will be at 26 degrees Celsius. And then we'll have the sun setting here at exactly 6:21 p.m., and it will be at 25 degrees Celsius. The humidity right now, as we speak, is at 69 degrees Celsius. That's the weather of Malindi today. Back to you, Miriam and Dr. Matanga, together with Professor Jared.
Thank you very much. The weather in Nairobi is giving us. The weather in Nairobi is giving us. Oh, where is Nairobi? 21 degrees. I told you as we go towards 21 degrees Celsius, and the chances of rain are 10%. Anytime it could mostly sunny throughout the day. Thank you very much, all those in Nairobi. And the weather will continue to be like that on Tuesday. It will be high, 26 degrees Celsius. We are moving closer towards catching you in the coast. And Wednesday, it will be sunshine again. And Thursday, sunshine. Friday, there will be some little rain. The temperature will drop to 24 degrees Celsius. And then Saturday, rain, cloudy, 24 degrees. Sunday, 23 degrees. And Monday next week will be 22 degrees. The weather now, a pattern in September will be fluctuating, changing. So you don't leave your jacket back home. Carry your jacket. Come along with your jacket. Don't leave it behind. And it is also too hot. Like today, or it's not very good weather. It will be half-half. So thank you very much. Back to Miriam in COVID-19 business. Let's do it under the legacy trend, radio and television, all the way from the political command center. Thank you, madam. There you are. Take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for that introduction. Now, Kenya this morning, the cases stands at 34,057 and the death toll is 574. And the people who are so far recovered in the country now is at 19,688. Uganda has 2,928 cases. 30 people have since died. 1,288 others have recovered. And Zimbabwe, 6,412 cases. 196 people have died there in Zimbabwe and 5,061 have recovered. So recovery levels there in Zimbabwe is also very impressive. And then South Africa, the leading country in the continent, is 625,056 cases and the death toll is 14,028. And recoveries there is 538,604 cases. There are even also there in South Africa as much as they've recorded high number of infections, but also the rate of recovery there is also quite impressive. And the total cases in Africa this morning is 1,245,476 cases so far, and the death toll in the continent is 29,587, and recoveries right now stands at 976,217. And of course, the global cases right now have surpassed 25 million cases. The death toll is about 150,630 and recoveries are over 17 million, so nearing about 18 million there. So, Doctor, that is where we stand this morning. And of course, yesterday also saw the country perhaps report another low cases as it has been in the recent past. So we might finally be seeing a curve, Doctor, from where we stand.
Thank you very much, viewers. We seem to be curving. The kingdom reaches an apex, it starts to curve, which in political science and political history, they call decline. Decline. The Oyok Empire declines, Baganda Empire declines, Kabakaswa, Mwanga, Suna, they start slaughtering Christians. The empire starts losing faith. But in medical terms, since this morning, I'm stuck with the words medical. Nausea, very difficult disease. We have it in Kenya, amongst Kenyan CEOs. Under the COVID-19, let's discuss. I want to bring in Professor Nyari. You were given a job by the President of the Republic of Kenya, appointed under the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Mujara or Manjara or whatever you call him, whatever he is, Dr. Manjara, was appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta under the Gazette Notes, which is United Republic of Kenya, constitutionally constituted. You are not appointed with Mr. Mutahi Kagwe together. You are appointed alone, Dr. Mujara. You leave your home, you leave your wife, you leave your children to go and do the job on behalf of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Under the Commonwealth law, you are supposed to abide by the Commonwealth principles of reporting corruption. We want to ask one question, and I'm asking one question without fear of contradiction. Had we, the media and the social media, not shouted, where would Mr. Mujara report his things? Would he have reported that there were emails or pressure coming from somewhere to give A, B, C, D? The answer is definitely no. He would have kept quiet. Therefore, Mr. Mujira, Dr. Mujira committed, or Dr. Majira committed, I don't know which is the correct name.
Manjari. His name is Jonah Manjari.
Dr. Mujari. He committed corruption. The EACC should arrest him first on charges of failure to disclose corruption. There is a penal code. What does the Kenyan penal code say? In Britain and in the Commonwealth law, once you conceal a crime, you become a conveyor belt of that crime. You cannot become a whistleblower after you have been sacked from the place. My contention and my stand today is Mr. Mutahi Kagwe does not need to resign, because Mutahi Kagwe and Susan, they don't need to resign. And at least they have directly have companies that actually purchased the commodities. But if they are not directly involved in the purchase that took place in KEMSA, they have nothing to do with KEMSA. KEMSA as a procedure, a constitutional procedure. KEMSA gets its money allocation from Parliament. It is directed to KEMSA. They must manage that money. But if they fail, then they must be held responsible as Dr. Mujira, CEO. You are CEO of a company. You are supposed to safeguard the interests of the company. Did Mr. Mujira call the EACC Wabukara to say, I have received 3 emails, pressurizing me to give a contract to X or Y? I would not accept as a lawyer who has studied international law, who knows what systems of Commonwealth, America would do. As a CEO, you have a constitution, you have a body to answer to. Did you notify the board that there is pressure coming on my employees in procurement to give certain tenders to certain people? If you didn't do that, you committed a crime, and that crime is punishable under the penal code of the Republic of Kenya laws. That is my position, Professor.
All right, we seem not to be having Prof there.
Professor.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Dr. Masanga. I don't know whether it is a coincidence that this man is called Jonah, and you know what Jonah did in the Bible? He's called Jonah Manjari, and when the ship would not go, what happened? He was thrown to the water, and the ship continued moving on. This man is under siege, Dr. Masanga, and how I wish that we could have waited patiently for the investigation report to come out. But since now politics is taking place and we have to talk, let me just have this to say. This man is already out of office. He's under investigation. What do you think when you know you are going under? You will want to go with some people. So he's trying to use all the names so that to see whether he can come out of thinking, and he's thinking. So what it is that is a CEO is in charge by law. and is the one to ensure that the regulations doing procurement in the KEMSA are complied with. This country, we have got a constitution and we have got the neighboring laws that even if the president tells you to do something which is not in compliance with the law, you can bring to the media. You can report to the relevant authorities. So the moment he squandered this opportunity, he will be held squarely responsible. And the law is catching up with him. We are having 16 or 15 days for the investigation report to come out. And in any event, Mr. Mkawe has been in that ministry for less than 6 months. Even if he's crooked and as evil as he may have been, I don't think whether he could have been involved. And what's coming out with the hacking of the emails, sending out the emails, let the investigation come out and will show us the way forward. But as of now, let this man give what he's telling us to the investigations. People are investigating him so that they can be able to carry from there. And it is a running wake-up call to those CEO people who are in charge, that do what you are expected to do as by the law. Don't allow to you to be pressurized. You rather be sacked and go home rather than waiting to be sacked and you go to jail. And he's heading to jail because he has not complied and followed all the procurement procedures. So that's what I have to say. He's singing and he will want to sing with the people, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. Karen, in your view, do you agree with us that as a CEO, you take responsibility? You cannot accept everything that is going to land you in prison, unless you are part and parcel, a conduit of the same.
Yes.
This man was a conduit. This man was supposed to report a crime. You cannot find people in planning to go and kill Professor Onyari. Then you say, I don't want to report. Then later on you come up, you say, oh, Professor, I knew that people were planning. The police will take you also. Because you should have reported. A normal citizen of Kenya, if he hears a crime is going to be committed, what that citizen does is to report straight to the authorities. Now, did Mr. Mujara report? No. Is there a statement that there were emails? No. Imagine a scenario where the social media did not shout about COVID-19 money missing. How would we have known? Over to you, Karen.
Yes, Dr. Masanga, you and Professor Jared are so correct in the sense that when something goes wrong and you are there from the word go, you are to report it and not wait till you are out of office and do that. In cases where we have murder cases, Daktari and Professor together with Miriam, if somebody kills someone and you're there, you don't report it, you're present, you're where the incident happened, you're even charged with second-degree murder, you do not report it. You are there. So it's not right for Manjari to come out now and say that that happened or that happened. However, we're not done with investigations yet, so we cannot conclude. But I agree totally with you that it's too late for him to come out right now. He should have done it quite earlier. So what he did and what he's doing is not proper.
Thank you very much, Karen, for those. Let's wait for the investigations. But let's get a brief from Miriam. What is our stand?
All right, very well. Well, the story, Doctor, is on page 2 of the Star newspaper, and as even what you're saying is here on the newspapers this morning. Manjari says, we got various requests from the health CS, the PS, and a member of the COVID-19 emergency response board. The requests were in form of phone calls text messages, and even emails. According to Manjari, at some point, the emergency response team visited KEMSA and asked for specific items which they didn't have at the time and asked them to tender. So, Doctor, as you've rightly put it there, if at all he has these text messages and emails and these phone calls, which I'm sure can be retrieved, during these investigations, then he should present, because this is very important and Kenyans are watching to see, because the amount of money that was lost here is not very little. And also, if at all he was being coerced and pushed, as he's alluding to, then he should have, knowing this was a very sensitive time and corruption is a very sensitive and emotive issue in this country, then he should have raised some concern and say, okay, fine, as much as this is needed very urgently, but also we have there's a process where when we procure things, there's how it is done. But I don't know if he was able to raise such concerns, because according to this story, the emergency response board needed some of these kits very, very fast. And remember, sometimes back in March, the PPEs and all these testing kits and all that were very valuable commodities. So there could be even that time the prices were beat up and all of that, but also still, as much as it was very urgent and it was very needed, if he was at all he was being coerced or forced or whatever, then he would have raised some concern. Was he able to do that? Was he able to tell them no, as much as this is needed, but also we have a way we do things here. There's a procedure when we are before we give a tender or before we do a procurement. So I would be interested to know if at all he raised questions when he was being emailed or he was being texted or he was being called, and if at all, can he present that evidence, because I think it's crucial.
Thank you very much, Miriam. On that note, we all agree this guy is on his own. He better swallow his pins, however harsh they are, the needles to go to the intestines and kill the intestines, because that is his making. He has no way, no escape out of this. He cannot, Mutai Kagwe, you cannot forge. Miriam, at the moment, I would also give caution to our listeners that people can forge your email. And that's why you should be careful with the type of people that you give your details. Some of them are thieves, some of them are looters, some of them are fraudsters who can originate an email coming from your own email and the writing to say, Miriam, you have written to Dr. Matanga, you would like to have this, that changed. Yet you have not even taken any email that you have not written. Therefore, the type of fraud must be investigated thoroughly, and before you condemn Mutahi Kagwe. We are not saying we are here to condemn Susan Mochachi. They are people who might be victims of such serious, even if there was a discussion, let's agree that Dr. Majari did not report that discussion. He committed a crime under the Kenyan law. He concealed evidence. He concealed corruption. That is all. You will not escape that one. Thank you.
All right.
Let's move on to the newspapers now. The Star newspaper has a headline which combines politics and corruption fighting back. I think Miriam is a good reader of this, of the Star down there. You are in a position. Read for us the headlines and what is on top of this, the cover.
So up there it says, defiant Deputy President says constitutional change can't guarantee legacy. And then why Ruto is on a warpath with Uhuru. Down there says critics say the DP is frustrated and angry after realizing that Kenyatta won't support him in 2022. And I think you were talking about the body language that showed a lot of anger on his face during the last interview he did there on one of the television stations here in the country. So Ruto is actually on a warpath with the president. That is according to the Star newspaper. Is there any truth to this headline?
I would restrain myself from commenting on politics of osogonosia.
What is osogonosia?
Osogonosia is a disease where you lack insight. So the disease of osogonosia is here. That's all I can summarize. Google it. It is and osogonosia is Nosia. Osogonosia, the disease of lack of mental insight. That's, I have summarized today, I'm not talking too much. That's the disease we have with Dr. Mujara. That's the disease we have here in Jubilee.
Professor, Doc is...
I have no words. If Professor, you can Google the meaning. We move on with our other topics. The disease of lacking insight, of lacking law number 25 of Robert Greene, the 48 laws. Recreate yourself and come back. Osogonosia is a dangerous disease which gives the mind, which melts your brain, which means your brain has porridge. Mental disturbance. Karen, Google this word and read it for us. You're a teacher. Oh, Miriam, Google for us this word. Osogonosia is the disease we have in Kenya now. A CEO goes to steal the money, gets a telephone call. He doesn't blow the whistle. He waits until he's arrested and is sacked out of the place. Is that not mental captivity? Is that not decayed mentally, porridge-wise? Uko na uji.
Doctor, I love
brains. Uko na uji.
Doctor, I enjoy a good cup of porridge, but this story, we see it on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper, and they highlight a bit of DP Ruto's quotes there. And then just on the side on page 5 of the Star newspaper, Franklin Bett, we know him. He's written a very important piece there, and just I'll read the few lines there. It says, first, it is important to note that leaders must tolerate and exhibit a lot of respect and patience. Do not fight those in power. So what he's saying there, Ruto anger destroys what has been built over time. So he's saying the anger that DP Ruto is alluded to be having, corrodes everything else that they've been able to achieve there in Jubilee and any chances of making anything better there. Professor, I don't know, what is your opinion on that?
Okay. Thank you, Miriam, for that good question. Miriam, at the moment, the Prime Minister and the President have committed themselves to build a united Kenya. And they have invited everybody. They have said that they are not leaving anyone behind. That's why we came with building bridges initiative. We build bridges for all of us to go through. So Miriam, if we are deciding to sit down and chart the destiny of this country, why do you get out from the negotiating table? I am a peace and conflict expert with Dr. Masanga. I can tell you, you don't get things outside the negotiating table. You can go to the bush, you fight. Eventually, we will come to the negotiating table to discuss. So, Miriam, Beth has worked in government. He was the State House Controller. He has been a minister. He has been a member of parliament. He is a senior citizen. You know, when an elder speaks, Miriam, it is this younger generation which don't take elders serious. Where an old man, an aged person, He sits down, even if you stand at the top of the highest mountain like Himalayas, you will not see where they are seeing. Ruto has taken himself out of the government. In fact, he talks that President Uhuru has not left the Regas. President Uhuru has done what no another president I've seen in modern history has done. 2013, he was mentoring him. He knew my time will come. 2022, I'm getting out. Young man, come I mentor you. That's why you can see him around you. You wear the red shirt, white shirt, red, everything else. We work together, we do things together. And he thought that he was a co-president. He was mesmerized with power. Even when the president went temporarily to Hague, because you could not allow the president of the Republic of Kenya to go to Hague to stand as a criminal with that title. He left him to be in charge to be acting president. That's no wonder he got this kind of syndrome. Sometimes I find it so difficult to discuss him, the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Honestly, Miriam, from where I stand, I don't know what he stands for. I am fond of just helping people write their legacies on what you can be remembered for. What could be the people of this country, the likes of Daniel and Karen, the young people? Let one person tell me one thing, that when it comes for fighting a free Kenya, a democratic Kenya, Kenya with freedom, with respect of human rights, with respect to the property and resources of the Republic of Kenya, does he enter can he enter the annals of history? What we want to do is the kind of the disease Dr. Masanga is trying to say, that sometimes someone can eat man of Kimwarere and Arod Dam, you don't see. You will see some of the governors stealing money, you don't see. You can go to Wilson, you take the land for Kenya Aviation, Kenya Airport Authority, you don't see. When you come to Kemsa, you will be able to see. To see what? I know, Miriam. When someone knows that their people have stolen, and I could have gotten something from there and I did not get, they become so bitter. And you can see this is the kind of anger, this is the kind of frustrations. President Uhuru Kenyatta has got nothing to do, and he should know. President Moi supported Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002. Did he make it? No. 2013, did you see President Kibaki supporting Uhuru? Did he mention anywhere? So Miriam, we are building a united Kenya. We want all of us to move forward. This game framing does not help. We are auditing our constitution. For heaven's sake, the deputy president and your spanner boys, come to the negotiating table and we take Kenya forward.
All right. And that condition there the doctor has introduced to us this morning is known as anosognosia. That means the lack of ability to perceive the realities of one's own condition, and also it is a person's inability to accept that they have a condition that matches up with their symptoms or a formal diagnosis there. Thank you, Doc. I've learned something new today. But I see Daniel has joined us. Daniel, a very good morning to you.
So very good morning, Miriam Ogutu, and our panelists on Punchline Africa TV.
All right, very well. Nice to have you this morning. So, Franklin, bet there, something that is wrote, even as we look at this headline on the Star newspaper, why DP Ruto is on a warpath with Uhuru. And something interesting here, a piece that Franklin Bet has written, I'm sure all of us know him. It is, he says, it is a natural and human to get angry when you feel frustrated. However, for those in positions of leadership, one must exercise tolerance and patience at all times and guard against making decisions out of anger. The Bible teaches us to be patient and not to act out of anger. I think, how do you make of that in line with with what you're having right now and the dynamics in Jubilee Party, especially in regards to our Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto?
Yes, thank you, Miriam. And for Franklin Franklin Bet to give such kind of counsel to William Ruto, then it's a timely kind of advice to his junior and fellow tribesman. Because you understand, Franklin Bet has been a long-serving cabinet minister in both Moi government and Kibaki government also. And the last one, he was the roads minister in ODM. And this is a seasoned politician with a very, very fine intuition. So I think Professor has mentioned there something. They say that whatever an old man can see while seated, a young man can never see while standing. So that is the reality of the matter. I think from my perspective also, William Ruto, the deputy president, is clouded by a lot of hate and the 2022 ambition in that he's burning so many bridges through anger. And even the Bible counsels, as Franklin Bet quotes, the Bible counsels people, Christians, against acting in anger. And I think going forward, that is not something that a leader will really want to be written in their history. And for God's sake, right now, we do have a handshake where President Uhuru Kenyatta and former opposition leader Raila Odinga buried their hatchets and came to the podium and shook hands in front of Harambee House, and that marked the herald of Kenyans' peaceful times that we are enjoying today. So that is an example to emulate for fellow leaders. And as Professor said, it is high time the deputy president and his lieutenants down their tools of fighting the government, fighting the former opposition, and just came to the negotiation table for the goodwill and for the betterment of this country. That is what we need right now, Miriam. We need a very conducive environment for Kenyans to flourish, to do their business, for investors to come in, for us to be able to chart a future going forward and just do away with this chaotic politics and electoral violence and all that. There's no need to bring the country in a mood that will be able to jeopardize our future peaceful existence. So I think it's a very, very timely advice. And I hope the deputy president is going to take it serious and just cool down on his pursuance of the 2022 ambition.
All right, very well. And also Franklin Bet continues to say, Karen, that when you look at leaders across the world who have acted out of anger, the common denominator is that they have destroyed their countries. This is because when leaders act out of anger, they tend to make bad judgment that end up costing their nations. Patience and respect for others is very important. And we've seen it in the case of Donald Trump, in the case of Kim Jong-un and other leaders who act on impulse and anger. And Franklin Bet here is saying it's very dangerous. And specifically this piece, he wrote it to DP Ruto, because up there it says, Ruto, anger destroys what has been built over time. So apparently he's addressing the visibly angry deputy president. As if you watched the last interview, our DP's body language was all engulfed in what looked like a very frustrated and angry man. But, you know, I might not have read him right. But Karen, what do you make of that advice there by Franklin Bet?
Well, just like Wasonga just said, it's very timely and it's very real. You know, it is what is happening right now. And like I said the other time, if the deputy president is not aware, it's showing. It's showing. Everybody knows that he looks frustrated. And just the way Franklin Bet said earlier, it's very correct. If you look at the leaders who've acted out of anger, nothing positive has come out of it. Because when you're angry, you'll make decisions based on what you're feeling at that particular time. And it's usually not the right thing. They usually come up with decisions that are not positive. And that is what Franklin Bet is trying to tell our DP, that as much as he looks angry, he looks frustrated, he should be able to control it. Otherwise, he'll make decisions that will put the country in a divided position, that he'll make decisions that will affect us as a country negatively. So the advice that Franklin Bet gave is timely, and it's what he needs to hear right now. Because looking at the decisions he's making, I mean, because of the anger, he's kind of contradicting with everything that the president is coming up with, or what is happening. You can see that it's just not himself. He's out of him. It's just not him. Now, why? Because of the anger. Now, we're looking at the issue of constitution here. We all feel like there's something that is not correct to the constitution. But because he's not himself, he feels like everything is just correct here. Everything
is just okay.
We're talking.
Go ahead.
I believe. Thank you very much, Karen. Can I come in now?
Yes, Doctor. And before you come in, perhaps you would respond to this. Yesterday, DP was speaking at the African Inland Church in Pipeline, and he said, those of us who have been privileged as leaders should be selfless and focus on offering solutions to the problems bedeviling our country. But a fierce DP critic by the name of Wambugu came out and said Ruto refused to heed the president's call against politicking and immediately embarked on his 2022 campaigns, even directly buying off the president's MPs to his campaign and leaving the head of state to work by himself. So what he's saying here essentially that DP's Ruto's wars are his own making, because initially, the president was insisting, can we try to deliver on the promises that we made to Kenyans while we were campaigning the Big Four agenda and everything else that we did not deliver in our first time? Can we try, because we only have this much time, can we stop with the politicking and so that we're able to deliver and bring service to Kenyans? But the DP continued, and now Wambugu is saying actually DP's troubles, it's out of his own making. Go ahead.
First of all, Miriam, Onosogosia,
Onosognosia.
Yes, also called lack of insight, is a symptom of severe mental illness experienced by someone that impairs a person's ability to understand or perceive the illness. It is a single largest reason why people are behaving the way they behave. So it is here. I told you to summarize this. Why should you spoil something that you are going to earn tomorrow? Lack of insight. You don't know. You are a managing director. You are deputy president. You are a minister. You are a CS. President Uhuru Kenyatta has given you responsibility. You lack insight to know the Constitution. Anger. As a conflict resolution expert, he has said one of the things that brings conflicts is anger. You act, you have already killed people. You act, you have already insulted Miriam. You act, you have already slapped somebody. So anger management can come as a result of side effects of osogonosia. That's the new word, nickname Mr. Osogonosia. I brought a new word. Mr. Mutai Curvin brought. It is not only Mr. Mutai Ngunyi who can bring new words. We also studied this. Yes,
Can you say it, Doctor?
Yes, social media group pick my word. It's very nice. Production team. The study of osogonosia is here. Inability to think, the mental effects, the ripple effects. Either unagonga dawa mingi, cocaine imejaa kwa tumbo na kichwa, or something, you are on something. You cannot reason. You are reasoning using anger. I have not named anybody, but I'm analyzing the minds of the disease which is in Kenyan politics, the minds of disease which is in Kenya's corruption. That disease is here. Iko hapa. You are managing director of CDF, you tell your son, you are the governor, Obado. You tell all your sons to prepare for theft. You lack insight. How do you prepare your beautiful girl? Who is going to love that girl over Obado anymore? Nani?
Where's Wensao?
Maybe the fees. If I find my son, there is one son who has not married yet, and I find my son going for this girl, oh, Wesonga. Why is Wesonga switching off? Are you involved? Yeah, Wesonga, are you Wesonga? If I find you, you introduce me that Your Excellency, by then in 2021, I could be the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uganda. Who tells you I might not be? Who tells you 2022, by 2021, I could be the Minister in charge of Foreign Affairs. When I visited the hotel here in Nairobi, then you bring me this feast. You come to my hotel, Kempiski, to see me in my suite. Then I ask you, what is her name? And then you tell me, oh, uncle, uncle. The words become longer, the tongue becomes longer. Muisi, who can now love that girl? You have killed the girl's chances of being loved.
Somebody with anosognosia, perhaps, who is unable to perceive.
No, but Miriam, the girl with that good height, she has got a very good posture. I looked at the posture.
Let's come back.
Yes, I have come back. I want to look for tall people and the strong, good, nice posture. I tell my children to look for posture. Sorry, good, beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't bring me an ugly woman, an ugly sister, daughter-in-law in my home. There's no African leader no African patient who wants to bring an ugly daughter-in-law. I am a parent. Nataka mtu mule mzuri. Akuje hata kama unakaa under the shade. Unaweka miguu like my age is going. I'm going towards 70. Very soon I will be putting the legs under a tree. Ndio, wanaleta morning tea. Nataka, my son has come with beautiful daughter. Then they say, whose daughter is this? Obado. Obado. Haki ya Mungu na meza hiyo wembe naenda.
I'm just trying to imagine your leg on a tree. I don't know how that will happen, but
no, Miriam.
Something literally.
Karen, can you help me?
Maybe on a
sit under a tree.
Oh, not the leg over
and
the
listen
tree.
And
okay.
Take some tea, morning tea. It's very important.
All right.
But then your son, like your Songa comes with the wife. They have come to see you. Maybe they arrived late from long safari driving. So they will come in the morning to join you in your morning tea. Then you ask your son, my son, what about my daughter-in-law? Who are the parents? Then Wesonga's tongue starts stammering.
Wait,
you know that is the fifth now. Stammering.
Wait, he is the dad.
Yeah, the dad is Obado.
All right, teacher. Yeah.
You get a shocker. First, you get a shocker to hear the name. Huh? There are people who married my daughters because of my name. Yes. That boy there who married my firstborn, I almost finished him. But later on, he married because he said the man is powerful. I was on Sky News. Narrator Moto. Yes. The man used this Portuguese guy from Angola. Looked at my daughter, Matsanga's daughters, very beautiful. They have very nice faces like me. Now, mine has now grown big a bit because of these chips and so many other things uncoordinated, but I don't have any problem. Now, they married my daughters because that's the guy on Sky News. But if they had it at that's the guy who stole 500 million. Who did he marry my daughter? When Songa is kept quiet, there must be something I must investigate here. I swear it looks, because over the weekend when Songa seemed to have disappeared, are you trying to consolidate the family issue? Are you in this racket?
Not really, Dr. Matsanga.
No, I remember one day you told me something that you know the Obados. Come clean, Mama. Come clean. Us and the medium, we are Christians. We don't accept this type of things.
Oh no, we
don't bring us safety in punchline.
Christians are not judgmental; they're accepting and forgiving. But as we go back to our story here, Doctor.
Karen,
yes,
there's something wrong with Songa. You see, every time we hit on the thing, it switches off the screen.
The Songa is okay.
So in short, medium, let's come back to serious. In short, Obado and the children, they have lost the market. Whether proven guilty or not, they have lost the market.
Yeah, the family name has been scarred.
Yes, imeisha. Nana Tamare Unyo Muizi. The girl is so beautiful. Now she's a thief with the father.
But the thieves are there, Doctor.
But they cannot be married when I'm alive. My daughter or son to come with a thief. At night I wait when you are sleeping.
Professor is saying there are other thieves that will marry them. That's what Professor is saying.
The thieves will marry what? My daughter to marry a thief and bring, then steal my wallet.
but if she's a thief,
have you seen people who come and steal your wallet? The father-in-law's wallet.
Doctor. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, last week, he said that he's number one.
Actually, before medium, you come with President Kenyatta. This is Obato's daughter. If you stay with her in a nightclub or in a lodge, you will find your wallet gone.
She's too rich to stay in a lodge. She did you see the house that they bought? So I don't think she'll be going to a lodge.
A house, yeah, but a house. A thief is a thief. A thief does not steal the little or the shoe. He steals everything.
All right, Doc. And right now they are still in police custody. And the police is investigating this matter, so we're waiting to see the outcome of it. And hopefully these monies will be recovered, and those assets, should they find that they were bought with money that was legally, stolen, then of course the assets should recover it back. Yes, and this.
Aisha Juma. Aisha Juma brought the son.
Yeah, this stealing is becoming a family enterprise. It's worrying.
Now, such a tall boy, you saw him near the police station with the father, with the mother. All of you are thieves. Babies. They could be stealing and Rodi Rwana chicken. In Sivisa and Malakis, Uko, Chebutais, Chebukube, and the Funyula.
And Yamir.
In Malindi, they steal chicken. You know?
In Yamir, they'll steal the sugar cane. Okay.
Let's name and shame these guys so that they don't touch money. Why do you bring your children into theft? Unawaleta ya nini? Is Aisha Juma now proud that he opened a company in the name of the daughter or the son, so that the money, some stupid man, I thought the Canon Wender had some brains, but I saw his brains have gone mad. That his CDF money cannot be stolen. CDF money can be stolen in this way. The earmark a tender, the committee passes the budget, the company comes to tender. That is already corruption. The company that comes to tender, if it is linked to the governor or to the MP, you have committed corruption. If the company that is building the schools in the constituency is linked to you, you have already now failed the test of integrity.
Yeah, conflict of interest and the law.
That's it. Then I saw Canon Wenda, a well-learned lawyer, reasoning like a chicken thief around Machakos. Watu siku hizi. Wacha mimi nibaki na Uhuru tu.
Aya, sasa wacha tuongee Uhuru. Uhuru, President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Let me speak there. Someone was interviewing me this morning, Miriam. I asked him, does Uhuru give me food? I asked one of the journalists that you are defending Mutahi Kagwe because he's a friend of Uhuru. Then I asked the journalist, does Uhuru give me food in my plate? I'm 65 years old. I have eaten several granaries. Hammered them down. From a small thin man to a huge big guy. Tomorrow I will show you my pictures. I was born 8 pounds. A man came out of the mother's womb, 80 pounds. 8. Tomorrow I'm showing you these pictures, remind me. Munione, nilitoka mtu wa tabu sana. Came out with very heavy things. God had already given me the way. My uncle was handling me like this, but I could see. You could see my face was looking everywhere. That I would one day molest Museveni. You know? I was produced with heavy genes. Apana hii ya wizi. Yeah, 80 pounds. Even my mother said it is impossible. This guy is going to be a problem. He's still alive. Go and ask him how. She's alive. And I was born during daytime. Walinijenga daytime. Hii watu wanazaa usiku wako na shida. I don't know whether I was born at night. I don't know. I was born during daytime at 3:30.
I was also born during daytime, Doc.
Thank you. Mine was 3:30 in the Bichiga dispensary. The placenta dropped. And I was weighing 80 pounds. Heavy material. Thank you. I speak like Nyerere, Obote, Jomo Kenyatta, Sekou Toure, Amir Kabura, Gabriel Nasa, Patrice Lumumba, Samora Machar. Angalia hapo. Baba tafatelewa. Angalia hapo. Mimi sijali sasa miaka hii kama naua mbwini na bunduki itaenda. Lakini kutoka huko mbinguni itarudi wewe. Takurudia mpaka nikugonge nje. These people are harassing Kenyatta's legacy. Unaenda kwa ICC unawapata. Ingine some stupid people. Wanaenda kujengea sisi. Listen to this, Miriam. Another story I have not told you. They thought Matanga is stupid. No way. I'm the only one in sub-Saharan Africa who has challenged this obnoxious court. And with my brother here, I have now again won a successful battle over the question of the chief prosecutor. You either give the chief prosecutor the list. Let's select from the list, not the short list. Hallelujah. People were making noise, Matanga. Try me and you see. Try me. On international law, I will lock you. I will leave you there. Everybody in Africa, they were keeping quiet. They don't want to register a complaint My teacher told me one thing, and my teacher was Max Clifford, Sir Max Clifford. Every Saturday, I would drive to Slough in his home and sit down with him and the wife, and he gives me a lecture. He picked my talent. He told me one day, you'll defend international law. He told me one thing, don't ever fear anything that the client is bad. The client can never be bad. Bad clients give you more money because you are cleaning their name. 3 weeks ago, Miriam, I wrote to the ICC, IOM, and I told them 48 reasons why the list they brought forward should not be considered. Today, this morning, that's why I was delaying a bit, I have given a notice to sue, to go to the appeal chamber, to create a network of strategy. Either the president comes to show cause, the president of the ASP to come and show cause why the list should not be used. Why we should now bring all applications of all people who applied. Then the state parties can choose among those, isn't it? Not the shortlisted. So congratulations, Professor. Congratulations, the panel here. Congratulations, Miriam. That is why you said, is it you who said I'm beaming with a lot of, yes, this morning I'm beaming because I have a written letter.
Professor,
it is very rare for ITC to answer you.
Professor said you're bubbly.
Yeah, and no, Professor cannot say I'm bubbly. He's not a woman. Women are the only one who can say I'm bubbly. Professor, I'm a man.
Bubbly says you're happy, you have life and zest. That's the meaning.
It is you who is bubbly this morning, not me.
Okay, leave that alone then.
Okay, but I am happy, I'm bubbly because, Professor, that is correct. And Karen and Wesonga, thank you, and Prof and Miriam, thank you for these prayers. My prayers are, I just wanted, you know, when you want to create a crisis, today or tomorrow, and Amemani plans for it now. I've created a strategy. Have you seen my strategy? Even if now they come up with Mr. Fago Gainer, the country's state parties will say, no. There's a complaint which was registered by the ICC, IOM. The man wrote and said, I've also written to the president of the ASP to give me permission to investigate. Isn't that a good answer?
Yes.
Isn't that a good answer for your man?
Yes.
So I have to save Kenya. I have to save countries in Africa from having a very dangerous man to become a chief prosecutor. Can I tell you why? If you choose Fago, Uganda, Africa cannot be given the slot. Why? There was an African there already. So my Ugandan sister, Okolanyi, is dead, finished. The deputy chief prosecutor was Canadian, Mr. Stewart, who resides in Britain, but Canadian. So the Canadian chief prosecutor is also what? dead. Mr. Anya is a Nigerian, and there is already an African who was Fatou Bensouda. So that one will fail. You see the way they did the strategy. So the only person left to be there after all these have failed is Mr. Fago Gaina, who will automatically from Europe walk over and pass without any resentment. So I came in, I saw like a Julius Caesar, I conquered. I put my feet there. And I'm very, very happy. When I looked at this letter, smiling in my box, now I've just been told this morning, another one has come from the chairman, from the president of the ASP. These are very interesting times. This is the type of thing I'm supposed to be involved in. Not this thing of chasing Osogonosia, Miriam. People lacking insight, the anger. Are we dealing, Miriam, coming back to your topic, are we dealing with people who have side effects? Have you come to think about it? Can somebody on the panel tell me? When najua kama uko na dawa ya malaria wanakuambia iko na side effects. Si ndio?
Yes.
One of the side effects could be diarrhea. Unaara. Every day you don't stay in the one office. You have to come with a kitenge like the coastal man wearing a kitenge. So, are we dealing with people with side effects? Everybody seems to be quiet. Professor, can you break the side?
Side effects of what exactly, Doc?
I mean, every human being has a side effect. There is a drug, when they give you a drug, wanakuambia is drowsy. Don't drink, don't take it and drive, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you might sleep on the steering. Well, Songa, are you telling me something today or not? Or because we caught you on this Obado situation? You know?
You are very correct.
Huh?
You are very correct.
Yeah. Side effect. Wanakuambia don't drink this drug, it is drowsy. It can make you sleep on the steering and enter another car. So are we in Kenya dealing with some people who have side effects? It could be. Because the way the world is moving, I don't know. Everything you hate the president. You hate the president. You hear the president's name. Are we dealing with people on social media who have side effects? At least for me, I don't have any side effects. The only side effects I have is very harsh, brutal words. They are very bad.
Okay, can we look at the side effects of the dying marriage in Jubilee Party here? Even as...
What?
Yes, Miriam.
Of the dying marriage in Jubilee Party. Go ahead. Go ahead, Danny.
Yes, I want about that topic that we've been discussing about the bitterness that the deputy president is all about under his lieutenants, and that is some of the side effects that Dr. Matsanga is stressing on here. That is what is preventing Kenya from moving forward. And I was today in the morning I was reading a book by Nelson Mandela called Conversations with Myself. And Mandela, having served a 27-year jail term in Rhodes Island, when he was coming out of jail, and he quoted saying, as I was walking on the path to the gate that will lead to my freedom, I remember that it dawned on me that if I could not keep my bitterness and my anger behind me, then I'll still be in jail, in prison, no matter how long I stayed outside there. So that is the same thing with the deputy president. Why does he have to carry on the angers and the bitterness of the past into the present, in that the country cannot move forward because we have some few people who offended him in the recent past? So that is the kind of side effects that we should never allow to impede our thinking and cloud our reasoning as a country. I think it's as a statesman, it calls for some kind of magnanimity and some sobriety in brokering peace and just being having that forgiving spirit and moving ahead for the country.
All right, very well. And according to the Star newspaper, as we finish and look at the other newspaper, it says, page 4, the story that we've been looking at in regards to what Franklin Bett had said there, but the main story here, why DP Ruto is at warpath with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, Uhuru is the number 1 crusader for an end of the winner-takes-it-all system to end the feeling of exclusivity that has pushed Kenya to the brink every election cycle, and we've seen President Uhuru Kenyatta being concerned, and through the BBI perhaps trying to answer some of the things or find solutions to some of these things that cause the chaos that we see in every electioneering year. But somewhere down there it says, but a defiant Ruto says constitutional change cannot be anybody's legacy. So if President Uhuru Kenyatta seems to think, as BBN perhaps creating a united Kenya through this vehicle that they have chosen, then his deputy there is telling him, no, President Uhuru, you're wrong. That will never be your legacy. What does that even mean there, Professor?
Miriam, that one cannot be a legacy.
Mm-hmm. Cannot be anybody's legacy.
We agreed in 2010. By the way, Miriam, I told you that I was in the no campaign. But when I was persuaded by the proponents, like my friend, the former ambassador for United States of America, Michael Rambaga, he said, look here, Prof, there are some good things in this constitution. Yes, I agree, all that you are saying is true. But let us get this one. And I was persuaded. Now, Miriam, an opportunity has come for us to rectify what we were not agreeing, because they had promised that we will come to revisit after 10 years. Miriam, do you know that we have not done anything to two-thirds by the majority? There are some sections. Do you know Article 203 of Equalization Fund has not been implemented? We want to understand why we have not implemented, where are some of the obstacles. Remember, Miriam, a constitution is a social contract. A constitution is dynamic, it's not static. We add life to a constitution from time to time. That's why we are having an amendment clause. Miriam, very few presidents in the world, let me hear this, will want to change the constitution. Very few. I don't know of any. So President Uhuru coming forward to say that he wants this to be done, Miriam, that is already an achievement. Even if you have not amended, the fact you have agreed that you have not resisted, that's already a legacy. That's the highest degree of democracy in the name of the president. Miriam, if we go through the constitution and we deal with the gray areas and we correct them of building a united country, you think that is not a legacy? You know, I have challenged you, Miriam, and you have not answered my question.
Mm-hmm. Me.
And Daniel, you're also there.
Yes.
Tell me, even constructing a cattle dip is a bigger thing. Even a cage for the dogs, as the deputy president done that. What can he be remembered for? Very unfortunate. And that one tells you, Miriam, the president is after achieving and completing his 2 years through the legacy. And here is your principal assistant. Yana nakaa kama kupe. The sooner we remove the tick, the better. Let him just continue preparing for his 2022. God for himself and God for us all, and see where they can make it. But let me tell you that going through the Constitution without fighting, without shedding blood, Miriam, you don't understand. We spent 20 years to change the 2010 Constitution from 1992 after multi-party democracy. In fact, we're all from independence. So very unfortunate for him, and that's why I say that there is something disturbing him. And sometimes, the sooner we understand, we can help him. But there's a huge legacy. The fact that the Prime Minister and the Deputy and the President came together, identified this one, we share prosperity. We add more money to the revolution from 15%. You want from 15% to 35%, Miriam, is that not a legacy? Miriam. To deal with perennial election that no Kenyans to die after 5 years because we are going for electoral reforms. Miriam, is that not a legacy? Having national ethos so that people, everyone feels that it's a Kenyan. You think, Miriam, that one is not a legacy? Miriam, inviting all the people of Kenya into the dining table. And you will also have an opportunity to serve your own dish from the same table. Not people, they serve you and they bring you outside. You are on the table, you say that I want this, put for me this. Miriam, don't you think that's a legacy? Miriam, I always say, four blind men, and they wanted to describe how an elephant looks like. One got the tusk and they said it's a dry good. Another one took the stomach and they said it's a big war. Another one got the ears and they said it's a dry skin. Another one got the foot, the leg, and they said that it's a huge trunk of tree. So my friend Miriam, perhaps the Deputy President knows what a legacy is. I don't know whether it is the tusk, the horn of the elephant just gotten, whether it is the ear or the war or the leg, for him to say that is no legacy. President Uhuru Kenyatta has left a huge legacy.
All right, very well. And there's something here we've been talking about in the last couple of, weeks, and we've been saying perhaps it's about time Parliament paid attention to this law. And now we see, before we get to the main headline there on the Daily Nation, down somewhere there after grabbed police pair Jumo arrest, she presented herself yesterday at a police station and wrote a statement. But now, somewhere after that, now MPs plot to kick out gender rule, choosing the easy way out. Leaders want constitution changed to make 2/3 gender clause applicable to appointments only, and that story is on the back page of the Daily Nation. Let me just read a bit so that it gives us a context. It says MPs want the elusive 2/3 gender requirement on elective posts deleted through a referendum, arguing it is impossible to attain. The lawmakers argue that it is not possible to force Kenyans to vote a woman a candidate in a democratic exercise. Hence, the requirement should be deleted and only observed in appointive positions. Prof, they must have been listening to you. That sounds like what you said last week.
Miriam, look here. You can't tell Kenyans you elect leaders of your own choice. That's what the Constitution says. On the Bill of Rights, on the political rights. You elect Daniel and not Professor. Then another one comes and snatches you that right. And that's where there's ambiguity. The Constitution does not combine and agree with each other. So that's huge. I said appointive positions. And what we need to do, Miriam, I have got a simple solution to how we include the other gender in whichever field. We strengthen political parties so that the political parties ensures that they give ladies tickets. That's all. Remember, let me just tell you, when Rabosho, the late Rabosho governor for Bomet, when he clinched a Jubilee ticket, and the Jubilee ticket is popular in that place, didn't he make it as a governor? When Charity Ngiru got the ticket and the Weber is popular in that, didn't he become that one? That's what we need to do. We urge political parties to also include and sort, and a law should be enacted like this, Miriam. A political party should not surrender a list to IPC if it is not complying with third gender. That one will force political parties to ensure that they have given free ground, neighboring ground for ladies to conclude. I agree with members of parliament when it comes to appointing position, that one we can deal. But when it comes to elective, we find some ways on how we accommodate them. And let me tell you, Miriam, starting with 47 members of parliament as women representative, I'm telling you that is a huge step. And if they can be able to register and articulate women issues, I'm telling you they can double by 2 and we will have 94 elected women. It is simply, Miriam. Those one who get part nominations, they are, let me not be very hostile for them. They are either friends, to be soft. I don't want to call them concubines. I don't want to call them girlfriends.
But we've seen,
I don't want to give them any.
We've seen a few cases.
But you have had members of parliament. Me, I was elected because I knew this.
Okay.
And they end up not even going to the assembly. So what we need to do, Miriam, let us make women from the rural areas that they can have an equal chance to be elected, and you will see how they will articulate their issues.
All right, very well. Karen, you're a woman, so am I, and these 2/3 gender
Karen
rule.
is not on.
Oh, Karen is gone. So, Doctor, apparently these MPs have been listening to this because we've talked about this so much. This is something very important that has even the capabilities of dissolving this current parliament as it is unconstitutionally constituted, if you were to go by the section 27 of the Kenyan Constitution. So now MPs are saying that perhaps this rule, the 2/3 gender rule, it has become very elusive and perhaps it should be deleted completely from the Kenyan Constitution, and maybe the 2/3 gender rule should only be met when it comes to appointments.
Yeah, that is a better suggestion.
That's what we suggested here, Daktari.
Yeah, we suggested that. Leave it. Leave something which is contentious for another time. Yesterday we said it. Why are you discussing revenue allocation fund? Postpone it for 2 years and continue with the old formula. Leave the country intact. Why are you pushing an agenda that cannot be pushed? And then, before I was cut off, or we were cut off, this quote by the Deputy President, the last quote of yesterday, on 29th on Saturday, that if you talk about, before we have any other conversation about the Constitution, let us have a conversation about 2/3 gender rule, because it affects more than half our population. This is populist. Naona, this is populist, Jamen. You are in the same government, then you are like, you know.
But Dr. Matsanga, that also goes to the question that Professor Jared Onyari asked Miriam some time back about the population of women in this country. If the Deputy President is saying that these are questions that affects more than a half of the country, Professor here asked, if women are more in population in this country, then how come that a majority of legislators and senators are from the male fraternity? So essentially, he doesn't have a point here. He cannot prove the kind of the populist idea that he is trying to float here, because even on the ballot on a very democratic space, women themselves have failed to elect one of their own to represent them in various capacities.
And Doctor, thank you for bringing to our attention this quote. I know we had looked there, but we had not looked at these highlights of our DP Ruto's quotes that he has been making since March there. And this one, before we have any other conversation about the Constitution, let us have a conversation about the 2/3 gender. The timing of this quote, because this is something that we've been talking about, and also we know the Speaker of Parliament brought these issues, I think, 2 weeks ago, and we even talked about it here. And we said even if President Uhuru Kenyatta maybe is not affected right now by this, but still it will be a problem for the incoming president after him. So perhaps it is about time Parliament paid attention to this and see which way forward, because as it is, the two-thirds gender rule has been unattainable. Even there, they agree. But the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya would find it something that he wants to tweet about and talk about. I don't know. What is the underlying message there perhaps is trying to send, knowing the ramification right now? Should the CJ, Chief Justice, write to President Uhuru Kenyatta to tell him to, to dissolve Parliament, then President Kenyatta will, because Parliament is, not constitutionally constituted. Prof, I mean, the timing of this message by DP, what kind of message is he trying to send there?
Miriam, laws and the constitutions are not made in vain. Laws or constitutions are made which can be enforceable. Your courts don't give orders which are fake, which are not enforceable. Miriam, that article of the constitution, tell me, even if I'm telling you, the Chief Justice will only be mad, because I know this is the kind of politics, the George Soros and everything else. There is no way you can give an order to the people of Kenya, you erect 8 agenda. That was, I don't know, those were some of the things, those of us who were in no campaign initially, we were saying there's a problem here. But be it as it may, the suggestion the members of Parliament have said, I've given, is good. Miriam, let me say that 5 times the members of Parliament have tried to register. I have been in the assembly, even the last one, the Prime Minister himself was there. And Miriam, the Deputy President sits in the cabinet. That's correct. Can you go to their minutes and say what he has done of giving suggestion on how we implement that section of the Constitution? He is trying to have populist thinking, and it does not work well. What we need to do, time has come for us after 10 years, and have a conversation, a honest conversation. What do we do? Like now, those members of Parliament, we have spoken here, they are picked from there. On appointing position, fine. But if he thinks that he can use populists and he becomes the president 2022, and God forbid, he will find it so difficult, because there will be a Chief Justice who will just nullify that kind of Parliament. So Miriam, there is an opportunity for us to engage. There is a time for us to discuss. Let us have a debate. Do we remove it or we don't remove it? But removing that part of the section makes a lot of sense, Miriam.
And there's something interesting about this story here. Yes, Doctor.
Miriam,
yes.
Can somebody also check when is Maraga leaving?
Before we check when Maraga is leaving, I'll do that for you, Doctor. Now, the Constitution Implementation Oversight Committee Chairman Jeremiah Kioni said the two-thirds gender rule was only agreed by politicians during the drafting of the 2010 Constitution to stabilize the country and cool tempers. So what is Jeremiah Kioni telling us? So this was not to try to address the issue of marginalization that perhaps women have experienced, and the lack of, a lot of, them when it comes to politics. But he said this rule or this law was brought in to stabilize the country. Cool tempers, that is just a wrong reason why we needed to have these two-thirds. No wonder it's not working.
Let me ask you one question. Why do you give the women 2/3 when they could be 3/4?
But the Constitution does not say just women, but either sex. But of course, men have been dominating.
Why do we cut to 2/3? Yet women could be the whole of Parliament. They could defeat men
if they wanted to. Possible.
If there was free competition. Women could defeat men and become 95% Parliament. Is there anything with that?
It's like what happened in Switzerland, Dr. Masanga.
3/4 of Rwanda government are very beautiful, tall Rwandese women.
Yes.
Mzuri kabisa. In fact, when you travel with her on a plane, saliva fills the stomach.
All right, but the reasoning behind this why they wanted to bring the 2/3, that was to stabilize the country.
But that is the truth. You know what kills us in Africa? We are not like a Bazungu. Me, I have grown in this Bazungu. For 35 years, I've been in Britain. I am used to frankness. So people forgive me.
Yeah.
Forgive me for being frank. Don't kill me. Forgive me because I'm frank. I have no idea in my heart to hide something that Onyali has been backbiting me. I come to Professor and tell him, Mr. Professor, you are backbiting me. And stop it, please. I've heard. Then he will tell me, no. I was only talking like this. Say, shake hands, we shall meet again. Because once you hide these things, you are killing for who? No. Why did God create eyes?
To see.
To see bad things?
And good things.
Yes. So when the eyes see good things, don't they affect saliva? Biologically. Miriam is saying, no, it's true. You can't sit with a Rwandese minister in the same business class from Nairobi to London when you will actually try to approach and say, you look nice, you look beautiful. That is normal.
I'm not a man, I wouldn't know that.
A Mzungu will approach you and say, you look normal, your hair is beautiful. That's why they have built a coherent democracy. Hii demokrasia yetu ya Uganda na Kenya ya kuficha mambo kwa tumbo, alafu tunaenda kupangia watu juujuu. Tunaenda kwa juujuu huko shauri moyo. Utafute juujuu weke kwa chakula ndio bwana yako akule akupende. We have that idea.
2/3 gender.
Yes, and bring it at 2 o'clock. I think time has come to bring an affiliated show. Nataka kuambianga watu.
I think at that point my voice will be resting. But doctor, on a serious note, on a very serious note, these reasons here by Kioni, that this 2/3 gender rule that is now threatening the dissolution of parliament was just brought there to stabilize the country and to cool tempers. So even the foundations and the reasoning of this was faulty from the start.
Yes. Therefore, why do you entertain it beyond the start? Sweep it away.
And replace it with perhaps what?
Miriam.
Replace it with 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, 1 sex. One sex, male or female, the same equal terms, universal suffrage. Nyinyi watu mnaenda wapi?
Yes, Miriam.
Universal suffrage.
Daniel.
And yes, and perhaps maybe Dr. Masanga has been talking on this television about comparative analysis. And when we are approaching this 2/3 gender rule, let us also be able to look at countries, democracies that have been able to achieve more than us. And for the record, this week, the USA, the Great America, is celebrating 100 years since they changed their constitution to allow women to vote. And remember, this is a democracy that is more than 200 years ahead of Kenya. Now trying to bring that kind of law into Kenyan constitution and maybe expect it to take root just seamlessly without any hitches. I think it's a very, very far-fetched dream. And perhaps I tend to look at this 2/3 gender rule and see that the greatest impediment is that our own people, including the majority women, have not been yet prepared ethically, behaviorally, and in terms of our culture. They have not been prepared to receive this kind of law quite well. So before we bring the 2/3 gender rule, we have to prepare the women, even the women themselves, and tell them the importance of having one of their own in Parliament, in the Senate, to be able to advocate for their own agenda. So, and that's why I talked about women are more than men in this country. But when you put a man and a woman on the ballot boxes, on the ballot rather, the men will have a winning majority. So it has something to do with our culture. It has something to do with the way our people perceive these positions of leadership. So first of all, we could just put aside that kind of law and be able to work on those factors first before we can bring it and give it to the country.
All right. So
another thing, yes, another thing I wanted just to give a quick rebuttal and debunk the Deputy President about the issue of the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta and changing the constitution. We have to remind him that Raila Odinga in this country is remembered for changing, for bringing multi-party democracy. They advocated for changing of the constitution to allow a plural system of government. And that is what Raila, the greatest legacy that Raila has ridden on for all these decades. And when we talk also about President Mwai Kibaki and Raila Odinga as the Prime Minister, the most essential thing that Kenyans remember them for is the 2010 Constitution, of which we want to amend some clauses today and be able to give Kenyans a better future. So even these amendments that are going to come with the BPI, those ones will go squarely into the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And it happens world over. Even in the US, George Washington and his contemporaries are remembered for bringing Americans a progressive constitution. And that is how it is. If a constitution is the supreme law of land. Without a good constitution, there can be no a progressive country, because the country will be in anarchy. And when a leader changes the law to bring a precondition that enables a country to be governed well and bring peace, then that is something worth to be put into their legacy. So I don't think the Deputy President is correct in claiming that changing the constitution does not amount to someone's legacy.
All right.
I think it is a very, very big facade.
All right.
Let me come in here.
Yes, Doctor, go ahead.
1,800 years of British democracy. Women only started voting. Do you know when? Women's rights after the Second World War. After the Second World War, around in the 60s, is when women were allowed in the parliament.
Yeah, the universal suffrage of the UK, yeah.
Yes, 1,800 years. And guess what? We had Queen Victoria, was a woman, but she was not given equal rights in the parliament. Equal rights. Today in Britain, we have Her Majesty, the Queen. Yes, she came there by virtue of being in the royal family. And she is respected. She has held Britain as a unit by virtue of our right. But not the people saying there must be a kingdom. No. The kingdom has been there for centuries and centuries. The Greeks, the Romans, the Turks, they all attacked that island. That's why you find offspring of the Turks, like Mr. Boris Johnson. His fathers and grandfather came from Turkey, you know? And the people have made an island the strongest. We even speak the only, if you don't learn English, you are useless. Have you not said that if you have no English anywhere, you look like you are boo-boo, boo-boo, ooh, ooh, ooh. Even if you know a lot of French, you will not be recognized. You have to go to that small island and learn English. It is a fact. My Somali friends who did not even know English now are very good MPs speaking English in Somali parliament. That is how effective the British Empire is. But it did not say bring in or bring 2/3. It opened space for women That's why Margaret Thatcher became the first prime minister, a woman prime minister of Britain. She competed and fraud women, men. Men were fraud. Kinnock, Neil Connor, Kinnock, alianguka. Mwingine alianguka. Mwingine Tony Blair, wote, war. Until some of us joined the campaign is when 1997 brought in new political tactics, strategy. The government won an election. Honestly, Mungu ako na mimi haki ya Mungu. It won an election. After all these years, they have lost. But when some of us became serious members of Labour Party in Croydon Central, powerful talk. And the Muzungu could say, hey, this guy knows the theories. They voted Labour, and the Labour won an election for the first time. Some of us, our chances were spoiled by Mugabe for supporting Mugabe to lose out being a direct member of parliament there. By now, I would have just been seeing Miriam from very far as a member of House of Commons. Okay. And the Miriam maybe could be my PA.
Yeah, and Doctor, the most spoken language in the world is Mandarin, followed by Spanish, and then English is number 3. So Chinese still beats.
Now you have changed the story.
Now,
Mandarin is what?
Mandarin is the first most spoken language in the world, followed by Spanish, and then English is number 3, then Hindi, then I think French comes after that.
Who is saying Mandarin? Who speaks Chinese? Mandarin is Chinese, is it?
It's the most spoken language in the world, then Spanish.
Where? Because of the population.
In the world.
The mouth
Yes.
that eat dogs.
There are a lot of people who even learn Chinese in this country. Then
No, the mouth that eat dogs. Maybe there are many. There are 2-3 billion mouths that eat
and
dogs.
then Spanish, and then English, and then Hindi, and then I think French and others. Which you guess,
Research
it is there. It is there. But now, yes. All right.
The language business.
Yeah, but still Mandarin beats English. I was just so you know. But anyway.
I'm just trying to hold my
Doctor,
money.
Doctor, yeah. Listen, this is our constitution. Let us live with its contents. Let us change what we can and live with other provisions. And don't think someone can dissolve parliament over 1/3 agenda rule. That was National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, who said that in parliament. And he said also that parliament has done what is humanly possible to implement the rule, but has not made headway. So up there, when he says that he does not think anyone can dissolve parliament over 2/3 gender rule, I mean, that is just a mistake in reasoning. It's a fallacy, because we know that it is possible. That somebody can dissolve, can go to court and say, the matter is ready in court and has been sitting in front of CJ since 2017. So if actually the Chief Justice wanted, would advise President Uhuru Kenyatta, dissolve this parliament. So for Muturi to even had thought earlier there that this is not something that, somebody cannot dissolve parliament over 2/3 rule. Perhaps they had underestimated, the implications of this rule there. Don't you think so, Professor?
Miriam, which is so difficult to nullify a presidential election or to send members of parliament to go home. Miriam, let me tell you, this man from Nyamira is like a wounded buffalo or rhino.
It's a choice of interest.
And if you are not very careful, it will go with you. I'm telling you, if they don't take the options we are telling you now, and we have said it before, let this man be sent home. That's why he asked, when is he going home? I'm telling you, that man can send that parliament home. He has got nothing to lose, but something to gain. He will be clinging on before you put it. So what is this, Miriam? Let us obey our laws. Let us obey the Constitution. Let us implement. And where it is not implementable, the option suggested by the members of Parliament makes a lot of sense. The Speaker of the National Assembly saying that one is living on denial. And when you live on denial, it is terrible. You know, when you say it can't happen, it can't happen. That's denial. The reality here is the Supreme Court has already issued an order. The High Court has issued an order. In fact, what was in Mativo, he was almost dissolving the 11th Parliament? Yes, but the days were so near. It was almost 60 days, something like that. So he said, let us wait for the coming Parliament and see whether there's an improvement. This president, the so-called himself, the president of the Royal Society of Kenya, he has taken it. He has taken the Supreme Court. Even if you are the Chief Justice, what can you do? Tell me what you can do.
And speaking of which, the Law Society of Kenya has petitioned.
He is being asked to do your job. Advise the president to dissolve Parliament because it's not properly constituted. So Miriam, this man from Nyamira, don't underrate that man. With the George Soros, he can send these people home.
Right.
And I'm seeing them going home. So the sooner they move, they come out with that suggestion, they move it and they said, we are going for a referendum, perhaps it can save them. Otherwise, I'm seeing them going home.
And Mr. Kimunya.
Let the Speaker and the members of Parliament, even Kioni, try to live in denial. If that's what the Constitution say, implement. And if it is not implementable, say and find the way forward. And this kind of conversation and the healthy debate we have, we will find the way out. We don't want to be populists like the Deputy President trying to say implement it. How do you implement it? And it's in government. They should have come with a bill. Do you know, Miriam, even what has been happening? Some of these members during the voting, they don't go to Parliament. That's how sad it is.
Yeah, they've absconded.
So it has never been subjected to 2/3 members of Parliament because they have to be in Parliament.
Yeah,
so they don't go.
Quorum. Yes, that is very true. And Majority Leader Amos Kimunya scoffed at LSK petition, and he says there are some noises being made outside there by somebody calling himself a president of a society that can dissolve Parliament. Let us see if he can do that, Mr. Kimunya said. And according to the Member of Parliament Otiende Amolo, dissolution of Parliament on account that it is not properly constituted may also mean that all the laws it has passed since 2016 are all illegal. This response by Kimunya, I don't know. And also, of course, Rarieda MP there comes from the legal perspective. But this response from Kimunya there, the leader of majority, saying that, let us see if he can do that. He's daring the LSK, and we know, Mr. Harvey there has been in a rocky place and has been really going hard on the government since he was the chair. He was elected there to lead the LSK. Are they... Daniel, asking you the same question. Are members of Parliament perhaps downplaying the impact this could have?
Miriam, I believe that the judiciary, first of all, before they consider dissolving the Parliament, they should act in the best interest of the country, in the goodwill to forge this country forward. And I don't think dissolving Parliament will have a solution to this current quagmire that we are in as a country. These are constitutional crises, and if they go ahead and dissolve Parliament, we shall be sinking deeper into this crisis and uncertainty as a country. So I think the best way forward, I remember when we were growing up in the village, your mother could go to the market and buy you, let's say, a pair of shorts and bring it home. And then when you put on this pair of shorts, you realize that they don't fit. The waist is a bit bigger than your actual size. So what happened if that happens? Either you take that short to the tailor for it to be reduced, or perhaps you just keep it aside, continue with other errands, and as you grow, once now you'll be of an equal size, then you'll be able to put it on and it will fit. And that is the kind of crisis we are in right now. We either change the law to be able to reduce the threshold, or perhaps we put this law aside, as Dr. Masanga and Professor Jared Onyari have said. We put it aside, we focus on other things. We shall revisit it later when we are ready, and then see how to go about it. But otherwise, this is something that even the Deputy President himself, going by what he's suggesting, he knows that this is a weak point in our Constitution, and that these are parts of the Constitution that should be rectified so that a country does not always fall into precarious situations constitutionally. So he knows it's a weak point, it cannot be done, and that is why he's capitalizing on it, calling on the country's leadership, of which he's part of, to be able to implement it, because he knows we shall be going in circles without any tangible success. And I think even the LSK chairman is not being genuine, and he does not have the interest of the people at heart. He's also being used as an agent of the same people who are calling for the implementation of this particular contentious clause of the Constitution. So for us to be able to overcome the current situation, I think it's only noble that we realize we lack both capacity and the goodwill to do this at this particular time. So we can put it aside and be able to focus on other things as we reflect back and see on how we shall be able to solve it going forward. But otherwise, calling for us to implement it and giving ultimatums and threats, it won't work well for the government as well as the people of Kenya.
All right, and before we get to the main headline here on the Daily Nation, there's something up there that says religious card. Ruto rallies clerics to oppose the BBI. So apparently Ruto is using the church and those meetings and the fellowships he's been having at his official residence there in Karen has been used to perhaps speak about BBI and perhaps rally them to oppose the BBI. Doctor, are you surprised by this story here on page 5 of the Daily Nation?
I'm not surprised. Oh, it's Professor.
No, it's you. It's you.
I'm not surprised. But, Miriam, let's leave this apart. Where are we heading? How long shall we head on this journey that never ends? Time, the days are counting us. We were on 800. Now we are actually 707 under 16 days left. Am I wrong?
You're right.
716 days left. How long shall we shall we go on post-journey? For me, this morning, I just asked for let people unite. Just unite. I let them go back and do rule number 25. Soon we shall rub them off from our topics. Because, the more we talk about people, the more we even publicize the wrong elements. I'll only talk about the good things Uhuru has done. I think so. Let's make a policy. Let's black out some people. I don't need to. Because the more we discuss them, the more problems we are trying to fill their points that they want us to fill. Isn't it, Miriam? Let's now discuss the good progress of what Mzee, the president, has done. He has delivered. So that is all I can say. And I think those are my last words. And I just want to run away. I wish you good luck in, I don't know whether the dispatches is coming now.
No, not right now, later.
Not right now, but I beg to very seriously disappear.
Mm-hmm. And Doctor, before you disappear, this front page is here on the Daily Nation, Uhuru's secret choice for 2022, whether the entry of Dr. Mukhisa Kitui could undo the Uhuru-Ruto Raila gridlock and offer a strong third-party alternative is what political pundits will be watching. Where is this even coming from?
For me, I have a feeling in two ways. Perhaps the president and the prime minister would like to put people to support another candidate. Perhaps. The second option is, which I feel for me, is Raila has worked so hard for this country. But let's give him a good send-off package to retirement by him having at least 5 years. That's my opinion. Yes, if I was asked from going to the, as they sing this song until we meet again and I wake up, that's what I would say. Give Raila 5 years. He has suffered. He has worked so hard. Even Deputy President Ruto, don't rush. You are still young. Give Raila a chance. If I were Ruto, I would just accept to deputize and automatically take it over very nicely from Raila as Raila's vice. That's my view. Because when the campaign comes, Raila, in the context of no Uhuru, in the context of having no candidate from the Mount Kenya, I swear you won't beat Raila. That is the truth. You know, I am like the English. I say it, let them hit me. If there is no candidate for presidency in Mount Kenya, knowing the political pattern of Kenya, how Mount Kenya and Bantu people vote, with the way the mistakes the GP is making, targeting some of their people, Raila will sail through, will collect enough votes to win a seat of presidency in this country. I'm doing pure analysis. Don't blame me. Raila has not paid me to so. I'm saying it from my open mind and brain. And by the way, Mr. Harvey, you have one customary degree. Don't ever rate yourself to a man like me who has several. Some I can use them for roasting maize. Muse, I can burn some for roasting maize. Where ka degree yako from Nairobi University? Unadanganya watu. Wewe, Harvey, Nelson. I have several, I can use them for burning maize. Certificates, and not from this year, these ones. Tisha watu. My degree was given to me by Her Majesty the Queen as the Chancellor of Canterbury University. Walai, where? Atarere.
Dr. Kenya has the best universities in East Africa, so
fine. But with one degree.
we have good institutions here.
Has one degree LLB. Has he read another one? It means he doesn't know tools of analysis. I know tools of analysis. Beyond the LLB, I can get one of my degrees and change it into LLB for 1 year. Isn't it so, Professor? And they give me an LLB. Teacher what? Teacher wapi? It's like 7 with a degree from Dar es Salaam University. Hamna teacher wapi? Sisi wengine tunalima kitabu usiku na mchana. Nasumbua sisi. Tunalima kitabu huko kwa toilet. You are washing toilets for wazungu. You get 20 minutes unataka kulima Karl Marx theory. Ndio andike mzuri huko. Jamani, we have suffered. We have come a long way. You want to, you know. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye, Professor.
No, I'm not going away.
But we are about to finish, Doc. So, Professor, Professor, Mukisa Kitui being introduced in this political scene here now. Here, the Daily Nation, as they are saying, is Mukisa's Uhuru's chosen one, and then down there says whether he is a decoy or a serious hopeful, will he be seen by how his candidature takes shape in coming months. By introducing this name here, will this change the dynamics of the partnership that we've seen between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, and of course the Deputy President is there? Will this change anything, really?
Miriam, I want to be very honest. I have done politics with Mukisa Kitui. He's one of the guys who were among the young Turks in 1990s during the multiparty democracy. He was a member of parliament for Kimilili for 15 years. 15 years or so, and he was Minister for Trade. He is now the Secretary General for United Nations UNCTAD. And his term is ending, and he will come back home, and he will be very useful. I want to agree with Dr. Masanga Miriam is this, and you can't remove me from there. Let us have a honest conversation, engagement, discussion, debate. How do we build a united Kenya? How do we own our heroes? When it comes to the likes of Musa Aturi and Murade, I agree with them. Let us have Raila Odinga as a Mandela for 5 years, so that we can be able to write off the perceived injustice which was perpetuated in 1960s. That's why we have agreed. Let us expand the table. I have no doubt, Miriam, in the new Kenya we are looking forward to, Dr. Mukisa will have a position. He can either be the deputy prime minister because Musara Mudavadi seems to be wishy-wishy. So in terms of to stabilize the Western region, that's why Dr. Mukisa Kitui must come to the formula. And for us to do politics, because politics must be done, you must be able to package him on what he can be, what's likely to get, so that if he runs out being one of the deputies, the better. And what I need to do here, Miriam, here is that when it comes to leadership and doing honest politics, see, like the reasoning from Ajama Kioni, that kind of dishonest, you know something cannot work, and you want to put in the constitution. Time has come for us, Miriam, for us to have honest politics. And that's why I agree with Dr. Masanga. Raila is in his years. The Bible said the life of a human being is 70 years, and you live it with difficulties, and when you are over 70, you are on a bonus. So Miriam, I entirely agree that let us rally behind the Prime Minister. He has won. People used to call him unelectable. He has been elected. And for the few 3 general elections, we have seen that we have not done our elections properly. So that is the way to go. So, but what I want to say that in my analysis, I know in the government of 2022 and the politics of 2022, Mukisa Kitui will be there. That one I guarantee you. And now that the president does not come open to say that this is what he wants, because he has beseeched us to forget about politics and focus in building the country. So let us wait and see how things unfold. That's what I have to say, Miriam.
All right. Thank you, Professor Daniel. Will the name of Dr. Mukisa Kitui being part of perhaps making it to the ballot of 2022 presidential elections there, will it change anything in terms of the political dynamics in the country and the alliances that so far have been forged?
Yes, Miriam, one thing about our politics, first of all, we have to come to terms with the reality that we are a third world democracy. We are not the US, we are not the UK, we are not France. We are a third world democracy. And in a third world democracy, all politics are local. And Professor will and Dr. Matsang will agree with me that for one to become a president here in Kenya, perhaps at least he should have a very, very good portion or even voters who are very, very loyal to him or her, religiously loyal here in Nairobi, first of all, to start to vie for presidency. And that has been something that has been happening for the longest time that we've been in this politics. Number two, presidency is not just a matter of having a demeanor and having a personality that can be a president. Of course, if it was in a first world country, then the likes of Mukisa Kitui would be a president. We could even had Peter Kenneth be the president of this republic, because maybe if you looked at Peter Kenneth discussing, dissecting matters on leadership and everything, then someone could think he was a better presidential candidate even than Raila himself. But since all politics are local and our people do conduct elections depending on who their allegiance lies to, then I think Dr. Mukisa Kitui does not have a chance of coming back from United and being elected the president. But of course, they say that opinion is like lips, and everyone will have his or hers to leak. So I think it's just an opinion. He's a good guy per se. He has been a very good administrator at the UN. He was a very good minister of trade here in the country. And I think he can make a very good leader. But as Dr. Matsanga said, as the Professor Jared Onyari has summarized it, I think it is a time where we should be looking on how we reward people who have contributed positively to this country in terms of democracy, in terms of fostering peace, and in terms of making sure that Kenya is a progressive country. And even when you look at the international connections, if there's a friend of mine who asked, today, if you are told to elect a leader who at least has connections internationally, who investors will have some confidence in as a president, who will you choose? Now look at Mukisa Kitui, look at Raila Odinga, look at William Ruto. Your guess is good as mine. So I totally agree with what Dr. Matsanga said. I totally agree with that Professor has said. I think it will be a very, very good way to give Raila Odinga a send-off package as he hands his boots in the field of politics. Just give him a 5-year term. When he's done, then we can make sure that the leadership of the country goes in a very, very good pair of hands, a person who will be able to steer us towards our Vision 2030 going forward.
All right, very well. Daniel Wesonga from Nairobi, thank you so much. Professor Jared Onyari, thank you. Doctor, do you have anything else you would like to add on top of that before we conclude the show? All right. Go ahead.
For me, my stand remains the same. I was actually reading down here. That's why I was reading something. Look at the general pattern of voting. The general pattern of voting. Mnataka tuambiane ukweli?
Yes.
People cannot at the moment have a Kalenjin or a Kikuyu president for now. Thank you, goodbye, and I've gone home.
Okay.
I've gone to do some other things. But I've told you, Miriam, don't be shaken. For now, it is too much too early to have a Kikuyu or a Kalenjin president. If you are on the race, mark those two words and give Matanga some credit. Come 2022 and say you were right. That strategy is going to be used very effectively. Very effectively. You know, there are some people like Mutai Ngunyu who studied in this politics that is mixed with corruption. You know, my politics is not mixed with corruption. It's hard work. Medium hard work. I've never found 14 million shillings on my account. Then I said I did not know it was there. Hey, if I find it there, the first thing I do is to run to the police. To tell the police, oh, someone has just framed me with some money. But I don't wait until I'm caught. Then I say I was caught. So I'm now telling you the politics, the political science, which some of us read. If you look at the voting pattern of this country, the mood of this country now, the mood of this country, at the moment, by the time we sharpen up towards that rendezvous point, I'm using the words that Wesonga likes so much, rendezvous, because he always calls people, let's meet there. Rendezvous was Kisumu, was Busia, Kisumu, where, you know, it is going to be that way, Miriam. You wanted to discuss this? Let's discuss it. And let me tell you, people in Kenya are not ready for now to have a Kalenjin or a Kikuyu president again. And that factor is going to work in favor of anybody outside the two tribes. You will see people are not looking ahead. Me, David Matsanga, I'm looking ahead. On Friday or Saturday, I did an interview very early in the morning with a big television. Nigeria has 200 million people. That's the biggest television in Nigeria. And it is linked to Sky News plus TV, isn't it? Am I wrong? It's a powerful television. After that, in the evening, the ladies, two ladies called me, producer and general manager. They said, where did you learn all this? You hit the points which were, some people from ECOWAS called them to say, can you bring that guy again to tell the truth about the army and about ISIS and Libya? Unaona Miriam, your boss yako hii is very good, well knowledgeable. You can't put him down. He's all round. Soon nakwambia waki hapa siasa, nobody is interested in a Kikuyu president or a Kalenjin president for now. If you are wasting your money, you will not get it. Ndio tuambiane ukweli. I hope my friend Jeff is quoting this quote and put it on Twitter. that 2022, none of those tribes will stand aside. And that's why, summarily, and maybe, don't you see it? And it is not very far from what I've just told you. It will be that guy for 5 years. So you're gonna kill me, Matanga, tonight if you want. Will you stop me from saying, let Nani, Raila have it? 5 years. Mjamaa ameenda kotini, ananalify election, anafanya nini? Awacha jameni, tumulipe, twende. Ile miaka ngine, you are younger people. Kenya needs to change from these two tribes. Not that I'm stopping anybody. These two tribes now can look for vice presidents or vice deputy presidents, not nyenye muone hii kitu. Did you go to school or not? All of you went to school. Don't you see it? Don't you see it coming? Tena tukue hapa tunaambiana ile rongo information. Weka kitu. Banga.
Doctor, perhaps anosognosia is at play here.
Eh?
The inability to perceive the reality. Anosognosia, perhaps it's at play here.
No. Miriam, don't you see the reality now?
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're not able to see the reality, the political
class. You only needed to introduce that reality during the campaign slogan, and I finished. It is unfortunate you can spend money dreaming that you want to become the president of Kenya. But after Uhuru Kenyatta, it is going to be difficult for Kalenjin and a Kikuyu to be a president. Munataka niseme nini? I've studied the subject. Jamani, should I take off the shirt then talk while I am naked, half naked? I can do that. Those who hate me can hate me. But it is going to be very difficult. In Kenya, the way things are going now is difficult. So anybody who harnesses these two tribes, the determinant factor, and don't underrate Uhuru Kenyatta, because he's a determinant factor. Uhuru Kenyatta is like a Kabaka Ronald Mutebi of Uganda. You will soon see Museveni driving there to even kneel before Kabaka quietly. They switch off the camera. Where? A man in leadership should be given respect because he has a decision, he can make a decision. In fact, he can nullify the election and say, let's repeat. It was not well done. What will you do? The parliament will be gone. Have you seen that's one of the tactics? Yeah. The parliament, if there is violence in the election, you are beating people, he can cancel it using an presidential executive order. Anakumaliza. Nasonga na miaka ingine na miezi ingine 8 as you prepare. So I will live here in 2023. So those who undermine Uhuru Kenyatta, the legacy of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, respect it. This one here, that's the legacy. You can go and hang. 3 books by the end of 2022 will be flowing, including Wesonga's picture. Everything will be flowing. We have written very good English. Who can defeat us? We read English of Shakespeare.
Mandarin can challenge that English.
Mandarin, you have already been challenged here. Beatrice Njeri from London, I'm telling you, there is no Luo who has been a president. So be careful. There are only 2 tribes that have produced president in Kenya. Kwa hivyo, watu wataki kuambiwa ukweli. Mimi nawaambia, it is going to be difficult for these 2 tribes to produce a president. A president is going to come outside this tribe of 2022. Nyenye amuka. Wachana na kukopozi mimi. Nilisoma hii kitu. Wewe, Beatrice Njeri, you are in London, near Oxford. But you just pass it without going inside. Go inside and read. I left those places in Canterbury a long time ago. Wewe unapishana mimi nini? You are my sister, I know you. Unapishana mimi, wewe ingia Oxford nani usome. You can see the pattern, the mood of the people in Kenya. That you will not elect again. Kama siasa inaanza and you declare politics, people will use it as a tool. Am I wrong, Wesonga? Am I wrong, correct. Professor? Medium, am I wrong, surely?
100% correct.
People are going to use it. Moi came from Kalenjin. Kibaki.
24.
Uhuru Kenyatta and Jomo Kenyatta. Kenya has moved on. It needs somebody from another tribe, maybe to unite the people now. That's what Uhuru Kenyatta. So the writer of this is here. I'm basing on this. Don't base on an argument of your kitchen. My sister Beatrice, I like you so much. And I know you. And I'm coming to give you a drink before summer ends.
But Dr.
Near Silao, in Brown Plaza.
Beatrice Njeri is saying that Luos refused to be president since the time of Raila's dad, and he was offered, but he declined. Can you tell her why Jaramogi declined to be president?
He was very patriotic because his friend was in prison. They are not hungry.
He was not power hungry.
Not power hungry. For these ones here, this guy, this is why they wrote this. We are explaining the newspaper. Don't blame Matanga. It is here, the headline. That we have been going through. That's how we are bringing the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. He's still the determinant factor. Whoever side he throws his weight, that's the side which will take the day. So if you are in that Kalenjin or Kikuyu and you are wishing to be a president, hakuna Kenya atakupatia kura. That slogan will be used, I say. Watasema hakuna, no. In fact, the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin presidential candidate will get the least votes. It's only his constituency and the people nearby. The rest of people will vote. A united Kenya needs a leader outside these two. We have finished the ICC pact. It is over. We suffered under ICC. Now it is a nation. It is no longer ICC issue. Any political philosopher, and my history will be written as a philosopher one day in Africa, that I brought a theory of anasogonesia. The sickness of people of CEOs, managing directors, sick people, insight zero, porridge. You blame Mutahi Kagwe, uko na uji kwa kichwa, unapata PhD kutoka wapi? Dr. Mujari, who can call you on phone that he increased the price? You are part of the conduit. Shika yeye kwanza.